Right, let's do this. Good morning, everybody. I think we're a few seconds early as we go live. Welcome, Thursday, 20th of May. Where is the time going? Someone needs to let the weather know that it's May the 20th, though, I think. So I'm sure we're all a little bit sick of this wet month that we're having so far and hoping for sunnier times on the horizon. But hopefully we can have a great session to kick off a big day of webinars today. From the Retail Bulletin, you'll hear me lazily call it TRB sometimes. Even the logo says TRB, but it is the Retail Bulletin Digital Transformation Strategy Webinar. We've got 4 events running today. And we're opening firstly with more of a fireside opening chat, a virtual fireside chat with an excellent panel who I'll ask to introduce themselves in just a moment. I'm Darren Williams. I'll be the moderator for today, and I'm really looking forward to sharing all of the sessions with you. We've got a really good lineup ahead. In terms of your interaction as the audience, we'd love you to get involved. Depending on what device you're using, you'll see a Q&A button. Do please use it. You may have a burning question that you want to ask one of our panelists today. You may have a general question that you want to be answered by one of them or all of them, but get involved. We love the interaction that we get on these events, and please do lead the way. And my job is to make sure that every single one of the questions that gets asked is answered. Without further ado, I'm going to ask our panel to introduce themselves, and then we'll be able to kick off with the chat proper. So good morning, and let's get things started. Aaron, good morning to you, sir. Tell us about you, who you are and where you come from.
So I'm Aaron. I'm the founder of a e-commerce business called Feelunique. We sell beauty products worldwide. We've been around for about 16 years now. I'm actually in Jersey, so the weather is actually quite nice here, I'm afraid to say. No, it's not really, it's equally crap. I'm originally Australian. I'm from Sydney, and I've been here for quite a long time. So yeah, hi. Looking forward to it.
And welcome, and thank you so much for taking time out of your diary to join us today as well. Great business. And I know you're obviously aware Karen is an avid shopper of yours from the Retail Bulletin. So she was super excited to get you on the panel. So thanks for joining us today.
I'm delighted.
We have a little bit of a substitute on the panel today as well. So you would have noticed the program talked about Chris Griffin, who's the CEO of Secret Sales. Unfortunately, Chris has been unable to join us at short notice. He's unwell today. So we wish Chris well. But thankfully, we have one of his colleagues, Dan Ashcroft, joining us. Dan's the Director of Partner Services at Secret Sales. Thank you so much for stepping in at last minute. Tell us about you, sir.
Thanks for having me today, and apologies Chris can't be with us. My name is Dan Ashcroft. I'm the Director of Partner Services at Secret Sales. Secret Sales is a global off-price fashion marketplace. Business has been around for around 10 to 12 years. However, in the last 18 months, we've actually pivoted away from traditional e-commerce and moved down the marketplace path. And that's effectively an area that Chris, our CEO, and myself have kind of been working in for 8 or 9 years. It's been a phenomenal year of growth. We've grown around 4,000%. So hopefully I can contribute to this wonderful chat today.
Indeed, and I'm sure with 4,000% growth, lots of people will be wanting to hear what you have to say later as well. So again, thank you for joining us, and our best wishes to Chris as well. Callum, hello. Introduce yourself, please, sir.
Hey, Darren, good to see you again, and hello to everybody on the line. So I'm Callum Campbell. I'm the CEO at Linnworks. Hopefully you've come across us before, but if not, we're a commerce automation platform. So we are a technology solution used by brands and retailers to help them sell their products to their customers all across the internet and to connect their commerce operations in a way that means their business is scalable and that they can deliver great experiences to their customers. So we've got teams across Europe and also across North America.
Thank you, sir, and thanks for joining us again today. Good to have you on another panel, and also thank you, as always, to you and Linnworks for being the headline sponsor of the event today. You are such a support to TRB, so we do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, thank you.
Let's get things going. So, Aaron, you're in the hot seat in this fireside chat to start with. You're going to kick the event off, no pressure. So, over there in Jersey, your business has been around, I think you said 15, 16 years now. And obviously pure play and online businesses have enjoyed great success over recent years, and particularly magnified by the impact of the pandemic as well. Despite all of that, what are going to be the key drivers for e-commerce success moving forward?
So we have been, we launched in 2005. So yeah, it's coming up for 16 years now. While we are, I guess, primarily pure play, although that's doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it, when you say primarily pure? We do have stores. We have a number of stores in the Channel Islands. We have a couple of spas. We have a couple of hair salons. So we kind of, I do understand the kind of bricks and mortar environment as well. So yeah, back to your question. So key drivers of success. I think like everything, if I look at the evolution of our business over the last 16 years, I think the one thing, apart from I think the thing that made us most successful over that period was the primary thing was an absolute focus on what we do. So we've never deviated from wanting to be a destination for beauty. We've had plenty of opportunities to diversify and do lots of other things along the way, but we've always kind of maintained that kind of laser focus on doing what we do as well as we can before we do anything else. And we're still not the best at what we do globally, so there's a lot for us to do. But along the way, if I look back at what the environment we kicked off the business back in 2005 looked like to what it looks like today in terms of the marketing channels, the technology, the platform, the people, the way customers work, customer expectations, everything, literally everything that we're involved in has moved and shifted. I talk to people who work for us and have worked for us for 3 or 4 years or more, and they can't get their heads around the fact that when we launched the business, there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook. It was MySpace and paid search and price comparison sites, and that was our primary thing. So I think what has kept us successful and kept us kind of cutting edge of what we do is being incredibly nimble despite our size. We grew from 2 people to north of 250, and we've had to be so adaptable and nimble, and you can't predict the future. You can't predict what technologies are going to be out there, what platforms are going to be out there. So I think, to answer your question, I think the key driver of success for us as an e-commerce business is maintaining that dynamism and that nimbleness and that openness to change at all aspects of the business as the situation, as the socioeconomic situation evolves around us globally. And that's not just COVID, that's everything else that comes along. So I think, doing what we do, we're in the very
You're frozen on us, Aaron.
Inventory business 16 years ago, well, as recently as 5 years ago, to being, a mixture of marketplace and inventory, and the marketplace is becoming an increasingly important part of what we do, and that's just another kind of example of, the key driver for us is being adaptable and nimble and fast.
2005, when you mentioned things like MySpace, I'd forgotten about MySpace completely. That was kind of like bigger than Facebook once, right at the beginning, wasn't it? Everyone was on MySpace. There was suddenly this big migration. But 2005 feels like a really long time ago. Now, when you sort of talk about some of those reference points of that time, I mean, I'm interested that I didn't know you had any physical spaces at all. So I've learned something new from you saying that. What was the thought process behind that? I mean, obviously you're in the Channel Islands, so was it about test and play with something in your locality that you could sort of have your arms around it, or what was the thought process?
I wish it was that clever. The reality is, one of the strengths of Feelunique has always been one of our main USPs is that we are very, very range focused. So our objective is to provide as much of what people want in our space as possible. Without being all things to all people, we want to have something for everyone. And rather than just focusing on just the niche brands or just the vegan brands or just the premium or just the mass. We wanted to provide as broad a range as possible, because we know that no matter how into clean beauty or into prestige beauty our customers are, most of them will buy across a whole range of things. So if we just focused on prestige or we just focused on mass, we know that our customers are going to have to go shop elsewhere for other things. So our objective was to really power that range as much as we could. Hence the development of the marketplace. You can only practically hold so much inventory, both in terms of physical space and cash flow. And so to that end, we set out as quickly as we could to try and get the prestige brands, because they were the hardest ones to get at the time. In the kind of mid 2000s, it was, there was a real kind of reluctance to go online. There was a real reticence and a real sort of lack of conviction in terms of how long this platform, how long was this going to last, and will people actually buy lipsticks and perfumes online? But so we set out to try and win brands like Chanel and Dior and Estee Lauder and Lancôme and all of these luxury brands, and Tom Ford and Estee Lauder, etc. And we realized very early on that there's this thing called selective distribution in Europe, which means that the brands don't have to supply you if they choose not to. And the only way to get around that at the time was to have bricks and mortar, because that way we're recruiting our own consultants, we have our own expertise in-house. So the only way that we could get the brands that we wanted was to have physical stores. And in the case of kind of luxury beauty, that meant we had to have beauty boutiques where we sold all the brands that you would find normally in Harrods or Selfridges, etc. And then similarly for the kind of luxury haircare brands like Bumble and Bumble and Vader and GHD, we had to have salons, both to tick the kind of SDA box, but also so that we've got those experts in-house that our e-commerce customers can also call upon for, in terms of access to advice, etc. And then similarly with the spa brands, we acquired some spas so that we could get brands like Elemis and Clarins and brands that are traditionally more spa focused. So it was originally a necessary evil and a means to an end. We never set out to be a bricks and mortar business, and it is still probably less than 5% of our total turnover. But actually, it's grown from being something which was, like I say, a necessary evil's probably a bit harsh, but our objective was to be purely online. So it was a box that we had to tick, to being something which is actually quite a key part of our business now. Especially
someone's just actually come in with a question with you on this very subject, actually, and that they've called themselves TRB guests. So thank you, whoever you are. But they're asking, what's the most profitable model? Is it online or bricks and mortar, or is there kind of a complementary blend of the two?
It probably depends on the business. Certainly for us, it's probably a blend of the two. They're both profitable. That online is the thing about having the physical stores is that it gives us access to a whole bunch of brands that our competitors don't have. And that kind of fuels profitability across other parts of the business. The fact that we have Chanel drives an awful lot of traffic to our website, because because it's a fantastic brand, but also, and the fact that the fact that we also have Chanel online means that there are a lot of other cool brands that want to come and list alongside Chanel because of the adjacency and the knock-on effect. So it's really, really difficult to quantify.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
It does answer the question. I've just answered that. We've just answered that live for our first person that asked